I'm going to break down exactly why those books will not make you rich. And I'm going to show you 4 boring, unsexy things that actually will. Things that, yes, okay, some of those books say, but in a roundabout way. These are the same mechanics that have turned regular salaries into 6 or 7 figure portfolios for some of my clients' accounts. No fluff, no manifest your millions rubbish, just the mechanics. But first, I need you to actually see the traps yourself with these books, because if you don't understand why these books often fail, you'll fall straight back into the same cycle. Right, so picture this. You walk into Waterstones or any other bookshop, and you head over to the personal finance section. What do you actually see? Rows and rows and rows of books telling you to essentially think abundantly or acquire assets, not liabilities, to unlock your wealthy mindset. And look, I totally get it. They feel like amazing to read. I remember, like, I had the exact same feeling. You finish one of them and you're like, yes, that's it. I'm going to be a millionaire. You feel motivated. You feel ready. But then nothing happens, does it? Because here's what nobody tells you. Feeling motivated isn't the same as making progress. It's like watching a cooking show expecting to lose weight. You enjoy it, sure, but your bank account hasn't moved a penny. And I'm not guessing here, right? After 10 years of advising people on their money, nearly 15 years actually, of advising people on their money, I see this constantly. Clients, they have the mindset. Once they've read these books, they're already there. They just don't have the mechanics. And that is the massive gap. These books all fall into these 3 traps. Firstly, the hustle illusion. They make it sound glamorous, right? Building property empires, launching startups. They make having a normal job feel like a failure. But you know what? The quiet millionaires sitting in my office, most of them built their wealth working a regular 9 to 5 and just spending less than they earn and putting money away month after month. That's it. No empire, no hustle, just boring consistency. By the way, if you're sitting here right now with a normal job thinking you've already lost the game, you haven't. You're actually in the best position. A steady salary means you know exactly what's coming in every month. And that's worth way more, in my view, than any side hustle. Stick with me, I'll show you why. Second, the vague concept of buy assets. Now, every single book that I've read, and that probably of you've read, says buy assets, not liabilities. Brilliant. You're a genius, buddy. But how? Why? What? What specifically should I be doing? What should a person earning £40,000 in the UK be doing on a Monday morning? They never tell you that bit, do they? But I bet that's the bit that you've kind of already noticed, right? If you've read one of these books and have felt the same frustration, drop the book title in the comments. I'm curious as to which ones you found have wound you up the most. I'm not saying that all of these books are bad. I think there's some great lessons in the vast majority of them. I just find them lacking. Now, third, this one properly winds me up. Mindset over maths. Now, you can have the most abundant mindset on the planet, but if you're a high rate taxpayer, keeping £50,000 in a savings account, paying 1% in interest while inflation is running at 3%, you're literally getting poorer every single day. The numbers don't lie. Your mindset cannot fix that. Basic maths can. And the good news is the maths is actually on your side once you know what to do with it. So if these books won't make you rich, and I genuinely believe we all get stuck in these cycles of reading books and consuming material, like, I just think we need to break out of that. So what actually will? See, this is where those books either bury it on page 200 or just leave it out entirely. And it starts with something that might change how you see your income and your salary. Someone earning half of your salary could be building wealth 3 times faster than you right now. And it comes down to one number. And I bet you have never tracked it. Let me explain. I want you to imagine two people. One earns £10,000 a month. Impressive, right? But their lifestyle is costing them £9,000. You know, the classic, big house, 2 cars, fancy holidays. So the amount that's actually going towards their future is £1,000 a month. They're earning 10, but their life is costing them 9,000. The other earned £5,000 a month, half as much, but they kept their costs to £2,000 a month. So the amount that they've got as ammunition towards their future, £3,000 a month. This person earns half the salary, but they're building wealth 3 times faster. This is such a critical thing. I call this your wealth building velocity. Now, it's not fancy. It's basically just the amount of ammunition that you have left at the end of the month that actually can work for you. That, in my view, is the real scoreboard. Not your salary, not your job title, your wealth velocity. Just one number. That is the game. Let me say it again. It's not about how much you earn. It's about how much you keep and convert into wealth. So, quick question. Do you actually know your wealth building velocity? Do you know the number? Have you ever sat down and worked out what is actually left at the end of every month? Drop it in the comments below if you have, because if you haven't, that's exactly why you should keep watching. Now, knowing your number is step 1. And most people fall apart on step 2, because knowing your wealth building velocity and actually using it, completely different skills. And the reason people fail at the second part is something every single money book that I have read gets completely wrong. What they will say is pay yourself first. Now that's great advice. I've said that a million times, but almost no one actually tells them how to actually make it stick. Here's what I've seen happen hundreds of times. Someone reads a book, gets motivated, manually transfers money into their savings or investment account and is really excited about it. But then life happens. A big bill comes in, Christmas arrives. They skip a month and then 2 months, and they've just quietly stopped altogether at month 3. Then they feel guilty about it, which makes them avoid the whole thing entirely. That probably sounds fairly familiar. The problem isn't you. It's willpower. It runs out for everybody. Literally, it's like a phone battery. By the evening time comes around, you've used all of your working decisions around basically what to have for dinner. There's none left for, should I invest this month? Should I be doing this? So just stop relying upon it. Here's what actually works. And this is the one that primarily the books that I've told you won't tell you to do. You don't need affirmations. You just need to set up a series of standing orders, regular direct debits. Some of the books covered this, but it wasn't as big a theme as I would like it to be. So the day after your salary hits your account, even on the day, that surplus we talked about, your wealth velocity, needs to leave your account immediately, automatically, gone into your investments, into your pension, into your savings account, whatever it is, before you even see it. Because here's what's crazy. I have had clients who genuinely have set this whole thing up, forgot about it, come back years later, and they're genuinely shocked by how much they've actually built up. They didn't really feel kind of poorer month to month because you adjust to the amount of money that's going out, but they were thousands of pounds richer. That is the power of removing yourself from the equation. But where that money actually goes, that matters enormously. And this next bit, it's the biggest legal advantage that you have over the tax man. Most people just walk right past it. Now, I'll be honest with you, on paper, this sounds super boring, right? Pensions, tax wrappers, boring, I know. But I want you to genuinely believe me in that this is the single most powerful wealth building tool that you probably will ever have access to. I'm talking about thousands of pounds a year thousands of pounds a year that most people just hand over to the government for absolutely no reason. Here's how it works in plain English. If you earn, let's say, £60,000 a year, you are losing 40% of your top slice of the income that goes to the tax man. Okay, that is the high rate of tax. So for every extra pound that you earn over £50,270, effectively, you're only keeping 60 pence. That is pretty painful, right? Super painful. But there is this cheat code. I talk about it all the time, and I sing the praises of it all the time. If you funnel money into your pension, instead of taking it as income and keeping that 60p, every single penny stays yours and starts growing instead of going into the pockets of HMRC. Now, if you're employed, you do this through something called salary sacrifice. Sounds complicated? It's not. It just means that your employer puts some of your pay straight into your pension before the tax touches it. You dodge that 40% income tax and save on national insurance too. So that's a good way to do it. If you're self-employed, you can do pretty much exactly the same thing, but just use a SIP. It's basically a pension that you just set up and run yourself. You make contributions via your net pay. It's called the net pay method. Now, let me put a little number on that. If you are earning £60,000, let's say, and you sacrifice that top £10,000 into your pension, as we say, down to £50,000, you're keeping roughly £4,000 of that would have gone straight to the government. £4,000 every year, just by changing the direction of where your money goes before it hits your account. And that number, if that surprised you, do me a favor, hit the like button. It helps more people see this who actually need to see this stuff. Now, that is just the tax side. There is one more piece that pulls all of this together, and it's the one that most people get kind of completely backwards. Right, try this. If you put £10,000 into a typical savings account 10 years ago, you know what happened? After inflation, you lost nearly 17% of your real value of your money. You'd have less spending power basically than when you started, despite saving that money. And this is the part that all of these books, in my opinion, get dangerously wrong. Most of them will tell you to just save your money. People hear that and they go, right, okay, saving means saving account, done. But saving and investing are completely different things. And mixing them up can cost you an absolute fortune over time. Now, don't get me wrong. Saving money simply into a cash savings account has its place. You need often 3 to 6 months worth of expenses tucked away for when the boiler explodes or you lose your job. That safety net matters. But beyond that, in reality, it's your, basically, if your bank is paying you like 2% and inflation is running at 3%, you are failing and falling behind every single year. And that adds up. It's like trying to walk downwards on an escalator. You're moving, but you're not really getting anywhere. Investing means putting your money into things like stocks and bonds through something like a stocks and shares ISA. Now, yes, there is some risk. Your money can go up and down in value, but over the long term, 10, 20, 30 years, a global stock market dominated portfolio has averaged around 8 to 10% a year. Now that's before inflation, but even after inflation, that still makes miles ahead of any savings account. That is the engine that actually grows your wealth. So to give you a feel of the difference, £10,000 in a savings account for 20 years barely keeps up with inflation. The same £10,000 invested, well, it could grow to £50,000 or £60,000. Same money, same person, completely different outcomes. And the beauty of this is you don't have to be the Wolf of Wall Street to do this. There are ready-made funds that do all the work for you. Something like the Vanguard Life Strategy range is absolutely brilliant for this. So do some research on, if you want to invest, do a little bit of research on the Vanguard Life Strategy range. you basically pick how much risk you're comfortable with, maybe 60% stocks, 40% bonds if you want something a little bit steadier, or 80-20 if you've got a long-term time horizon and you don't mind watching your money go up and down a little bit. You set up your direct debit and the fund manager handles the rest. Simple, right? But here's what nobody ever answers. How long do you actually need to keep doing all of this? When can you stop? Because there is a point where you can stop. And most people either blow right past it or quit way too early. You see, everything I showed you, the wealth building velocity, the automation, the tax wrappers, and the investing, it all falls apart if you don't understand one critical number. It's called your coast number, and it's the exact point where investment starts doing more of the work than you do. Get this wrong, and you'll either save too much for too long, or worse, stop early and fall short. I break this number down exactly and try to figure out how to find it in this video right here. This is the single biggest factor in understanding how to balance life today and building for tomorrow. So if you ever wonder where the journey ends, give it a click and let's find out together.